Yo. So you feel like you need to make a massive change in your life, right? You feel like you're ready to take things to another level. Now, it's time to make a change, but what are you gonna change? Are you gonna change the way you rock your hair, right? Gonna change your shoes? Because all of those are changes. But if you really want to take your life to the next level, you're gonna need an identity shift. And on today's episode, day number 11 of my 75 hard challenge, 75 days of discipline on my journey to master my energy, we're gonna talk about identity shifts and how shifting your identity can really change your reality. All right. But it's day number 11 for my 75 hard challenge. And I'm about to go on my morning run. Of course, the 75 hard challenge is 2 45-minute workouts a day. One of them got to be outside, drink a gallon of water, read 10 pages a day, take a progress pic, drink no alcohol, and eat clean, right? Follow a diet, no cheat days. So I'm on day number 11, got some momentum, and I'm feeling my identity shifting. I'm becoming the type of person that just gets up in the morning and does what he has to do. But we're gonna talk more about identity shifting in a minute. I'm gonna put this road work in. Tap in with y'all in a minute. Yeah, y'all, we just finished that 3-mile run. Now we're just cooling down, 15-minute walk. But I just wanted to drop this quick little thought I had on y'all, a download while I was running. So, identity shift. If it was that easy, you'd be able to snap your finger and do it. The ironic thing is that it is that easy, but you do have things blocking you from making an identity shift. The main thing blocking you from having an identity shift is your old identity. Yeah, let that sink in for a minute. Your old identity been with you since as long as you can remember. Different points in our life, childhood, we experience things that can be considered emotional trauma if you want to look at it that way. But they're the things that shape us. They shape our hero's journey. They give us that obstacle to overcome, right? So maybe you grew up without money. You grew up financially challenged. So you identified with somebody that was quote unquote poor. Or, you didn't get as much love or as many hugs as you want. So you identified yourself as somebody who didn't deserve the love. Or, could be a plethora of examples. Following down that line of thinking. So when you make an identity shift, you no longer claim that story. You no longer identify with the poor person. You don't identify yourself as a poor person. You don't identify yourself as a loser. You don't identify yourself as someone who doesn't deserve the love, right? But again, we got to go deeper than that, because once you identify the identity that you are holding on to, your old identity that you need to let go so you can become and claim your new identity, you still got more work to do. Some people will call it shadow work. Let's call it shadow work. That old identity, or that identity that you don't want to identify with, we're gonna call that your shadow. And it's part of you because you went through certain experiences and your vibration is tuned into those experiences. So whether things happened to you when you was 10, 11, and now you're 20, or when you was 20 and now you're 30, or when you was 30 and now you're 40, so on and so forth, you still identify with those experiences. So throughout the day, we're gonna talk about ways of mastering our energy and detaching from our old identity, creating a new identity, and walking into that new identity. Identity shifting. We want to shift our identity so we are able to identify with the person that we want to be. Actually the person that we are. Because this is changing things from the inside out when you shift your identity. You can't just start from the outside. Let me get a little bit more personal with this. Me, I played basketball my whole life. To be frank, my goal, my dream was to go to the NBA. And at a point in time, I identified with myself as someone who was going to the NBA. Now, I had a great career, played basketball all over the world, a lot of accolades, a lot of recognition. But I didn't make it to the NBA. So if you identify success with making it to the NBA solely, and you don't make it to the NBA, you won't identify yourself as a success. You will, in fact, identify yourself as a failure to a certain degree. Despite the winning, despite the accolades, despite what it looks like from the outside, on the inside, I didn't like my identity. I know I'm not alone in that sentiment. A lot of athletes out there, maybe they didn't even play basketball. Maybe they played another sport but got a similar story. Maybe you had a dream or aspiration to get a certain job or do a certain thing in your life and you didn't do it. And now you identify with yourself as a failure. You don't like what you see when you look in the mirror. It's time for identity shift. One way I shifted my identity in that essence was I realized, I always knew this, but I had to go deep down on the inside and value the other things about myself and realize I'm way more dynamic of a person than just a basketball player. I do love the game of basketball with all my heart, but it doesn't define who I am as a person, the way I play on the court. So once I was able to say those words to myself, it began shifting my identity. I started a business where I wanted to teach young basketball players the game in a way where they didn't only consider making it in the game by going to the NBA. They realized that they could make more of themselves than just a basketball player, right? You can use the game to become a better person, much like they do in martial arts, Everyone's not a black belt or grand champion when it comes to karate, but it seems that a lot of those warriors and those that practice, the practitioners of martial arts, they're able to practice not just the art, but they're able to practice the art of discipline and work on their internal selves. So I realized I want to help basketball players work on their internal selves so they never identify with themselves as basketball players, right? So I hope that if it's a retired basketball player out there watching this, I hope he followed that. And if he need a little healing, I hope that he or she needed a little healing. I hope that touched y'all, man. You're much more than a basketball player. And even in playing the game, I want to tell you that you was sharpening a lot of different skills to where your identity shift already was happening. It was just happening beneath the surface. So now it's time for it to come to the surface. But man, y'all, it's hot out here. I'm about to go and get some shade, stretch it out. Give me some water. Get on with the day. Day number 10. My bad. Day number 11. We shifting identities. Get at y'all in a minute. Yo, man, I hope y'all having a good day. Day number 11 for me, 75 hard challenge. Mastering my energy, physically, mentally, and spiritually. But earlier we was talking about identity shifting and shifting your identity. And I had mentioned that this thing called identity shifting happens from the inside out, meaning it's gonna happen mentally and spiritually before it happens for you physically. So that means it's gonna involve you using your imagination and your mind before you actually take action. So when we talk about it happening inside out, I believe we all live two lives, right? It's the external life we live and the internal life that we live. So if you want to shift your identity, you have to start with, let's say it this way. We got hopes, we got dreams, we got things that we want to have and accomplish. So when you think about the things that you want to have and the things that you want to do, ask yourself, what type of person would do these things? What type of person would take the action that I need to take to have my desired identity, right? And something else I want to touch on is that you are not what you do. You're not what you do. Going back to the example that I gave a little earlier with basketball players and athletes identifying with their performance, take accountability for your performance, but realize it doesn't encompass your identity. Your identity is more than that. But case in point, as we shift in our identity, we know that it's not something that's just gonna happen on the surface level. So are you ready to shift your identity? Man, if so, drop it in the comments. Let us know. Let us know who you are. That I am is a powerful statement when you say I am this, I am that. And you want to watch your words because it's power in the tongue. It's power in your words. So you don't want to find yourself saying things like, I am a failure, or I am a loser, or I am poor. Because whatever you say after that I am is essentially an affirmation. So when you make a statement like that, you're affirming that you are what you say you are. But I'm parking the whip, and we pulling up to Box Art Gym. We're gonna go inside and get a good workout for workout number 2. Ran them good 3 miles earlier. So now I'm gonna go in there, focus on some shoulders, do shoulders, core, and finish up with legs. Day number 11. I pretty much have done legs every time I came to the gym over the past 11 days. Building a strong, solid foundation for my body. And I'm gonna see y'all on the inside, man. See y'all, man. I've got superpowers. You only get one day at a time. What you gonna do with your 24 hours? I'ma get things done today. I've got superpowers. You only get one day at a time. What you gonna do with your 24 hours? Life is a blessing. I'ma make a toast. If life is a party, God gotta be the host. I had me some downtown, washed me some clothes. I rolled me a backwood, folded a couple loads. I had to run some errands, I done cleaned up my kitchen. I listened to myself, leaders follow intuition. I've been slam dunking and swishing nets with ambition. Could've made it to the league, coach played me out of position. I've been through some real shit. All right, so let's think about identity shifting like this. Let's say I'm in the gym right now, right? Now we know that if you lift weights, your identity is not going to shift immediately, in the sense that your muscles are just going to look like the Terminator as soon as you do a few sets of bicep curls or something. However, your identity will shift first, in the sense that you are the type of person that works out consistently, intensely, in a way where your mental identity is going to shift first. And then your spiritual or your energetic identity is going to shift, in the sense where now you are the type of person. Now your vibration and the frequency that you tapped into is going to be that of somebody that is on a fitness journey that's working out. And then lastly, your physical identity shift will take place after you keep your mind and your emotions locked in for long enough. So your mind shift, your mental identity gonna shift first, then your energetic or your emotional identity gonna shift, and then finally your body gonna start looking the part. Your physical identity will shift, and you will look like a new person, because you will be a new person walking in the new identity that you desire. So now you got your new identity. But life don't change, you gotta learn to transition. Something wrong with my truck and I'm knowing it's expensive. It's messed up because I just changed the transmission. Now I'm about to grab groceries in my S550. If you master your energy, then you can vibe with me. I'm about to call my grandma, she been on my mind lately. Been distancing myself from things that don't align with me. Get you some good inspiration for your next car purchase. Black on black, oh my bad, no disrespect. Black on white. Man, sorry. Monochrome rims. Alright, that's tough. Yep, my next purchase will be a G-Wagon for sure. Man, y'all, day number 11. Feeling good.